promise that you will not ask me another question about the case?
I will never ask you again.
We won't have to talk about it anymore.
Just did you do it?
No, I didn't. Nope. Did not do it.
Welcome back to another episode of DAS with your boy, Sean Mack. And we all know what happened on June 12th of 1994. Nicole Brown Simpson and Ryan Goldman was found murdered at a house outside of Los Angeles, California. We all know that OJ went through the chase. We all know that OJ went through the trial. We all know that OJ was acquitted of this crime. But it's been a floating theory out there that it actually was his son, Jason. So we're going to take a deeper dive into that theory, see can we work it out. So if you like today's content, make sure you share, like, and subscribe to the video. So let's go.
But people have said, well, who did it? I said, well, I worked 18 hours a day for, 17 months on this case, and forget about since then, all the times I've thought about it. I don't know who did it, but I know who didn't do it. O.J. Simpson did not murder two people. I've had people, friends, slam the table. You think everybody's innocent. I mean, just emotionally get crazy over O.J. Simpson being innocent. I've had almost a fist fight in my own backyard. A friend of mine's brother came down, we're visiting, having a barbecue. This is way after the trial. This guy wants to have a fist fight with me. I'm just telling you what I think. I wasn't there, but I'm pretty certain this guy couldn't have killed two people, and here's why. They won't hear it.
This article is from Jennifer Tisdale. Quote, well, I have Jason's diary where he says, I cut away all my problems with a knife. I have the murder weapon. End quote. It's impossible to explain the significance of the O.J. Simpson verdict to anyone who wasn't a fully formed human being in October of 1995. This was a complicated case that was coming on the heels of an incredible racial unrest in the city of Los Angeles. It had only been 3 years since the brutal beating of Rodney King, a black man, by members of the Los Angeles Police Department. Those officers were acquitted, which kicked off the Los Angeles riots in May of 1992. When you consider this, and the racist remarks of Los Angeles Police Department Detective Mark Furman, who was investigating the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ryan Goldman, it was undoubtedly a recipe for a non-guilty verdict. No one trusted the Los Angeles Department, and they had good reason not to. One theory has been put forth by a private investigator who followed the case from the start. Distractify spoke with William Deere about why he believes the killer is actually Simpson's oldest son. Deere has devoted much of his career to the idea that Simpson's son, Jason Simpson, is the actual killer. When asked about the most compelling evidence he has, Deere told us, quote, I have Jason's diaries where he says, I cut away my problems with my knife, end quote. Deere then revealed that he has in his possession what he believes to be the knife used to kill Nicole and Goldman, quote, two of the top experts in the country who deal with knife wounds feel that he has the murder weapon, end quote, Deere said. He then referenced an incident from December of 1992 where Jason was arrested for attacking his then employer with a knife. According to UPI, court documents show that Jason assaulted a restaurant owner called Paul Goldberg. Not only did Jason threaten him with a knife, he also punched and kicked him. Jason was then charged with 3 felony accounts of assault and battery, but pleaded guilty to a reduced misdemeanor charge of disturbing the peace. He received 2 years of probation and 10 days of community service. A friend of Deere's purchased a storage unit that Jason was previously renting but owed money on. Inside were several boxes of his things, which included but weren't limited to the aforementioned diaries, and a knife as well, and a picture of Jason wearing a knit cap, similar to the one authorities found at the crime scene. Deere's other evidence can be found in his self-published book, O.J. is Guilty, but Not for Murder, released on November of 2000. The book touches on Jason's previous diagnosis of intermittent rage disorder, for which he was prescribed Depakote. Jason had also allegedly physically assaulted 2 ex-girlfriends. Quote, Jason grabbed me and pinned me down on the bathroom floor, then grabbed me by my braids. He started whacking off my hair with the chef's knife, end quote, said one of the women in the book. That same woman told Dear that 2 months before the murders, Jason told her he was no longer taking his medication. Apparently, it messed with his head. Dear thinks that Simpson took the blame for his son and spent decades covering up for him. Quote, I'm a father. I have 2 sons. I don't know what I would do. End quote. Facts. His last words are facts. William Dear was his name, the detective. Facts. I would do anything for either one of my children, my son or my daughter. I would do anything for them. So that's just a fact. I don't know what I would do if I was put in that situation. But remember, if you like today's content, make sure you share, like, and subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot. And make sure you hit those notifications so we be all in your notifications when we drop them. I have my receipts as usual. I have 7 things here that I want to discuss. Maybe we can get down to the bottom of this. Remember, hit up that comment section and let me know what you think. Jason was working as a sous chef at the restaurant Nicole and Ryan was dining at that night. That's number 1. Number 2, Jason took a break after Nicole and Ryan left the restaurant, according to the staff working there that night. So it's just lining up. We all know that they didn't get along that well, and one time before at the restaurant he had issues with Nicole. That would have been his stepmother, technically his stepmother, right? Number 3, there was no documentation of Jason leaving the restaurant that night because he was on salary. People on salary, if you don't know, they don't clock in, they don't clock out. So it's only information that's given by the staff that he did leave that night and that he did come back. They don't know the time frame, but it kind of lines up with the time frame. To me, it seems weird that the LAPD never did actually put him under investigation, being that he had issues with Nicole in the past. That lead me to believe that, the LAPD was crooked then. They're probably crooked now. But, back then they had the Rodney King thing going on. No one really trusted the LAPD. And it seemed like the LAPD just wanted it to be OJ. And they didn't look in any other manner for any other suspects. That's kind of strange to me. Number 4. And this is something that seems as weird, it's short, but you have to take it into consideration. OJ was an old man. I know he's dead, he's passed away, but he was old back then. He had arthritis. He had played in the NFL. Pretty sure he had CTE. But remember, Jason Simpson, OJ's son, was a chef, which means he was real handy with the knives. He was younger. He probably was stronger, being that he was younger, and he's real handy with the knives. I think people don't look into that a little bit harder. They don't give that much credibility that he was a chef. And I work in the restaurant business. I'm a manager. So, and I've cooked since when I was younger. I've cooked recently. I can do it all. And to be handy with that knife is something that people really underestimate. Number 5, he had anger issues. He took meds for his anger issues. At that time, according to that young lady, he wasn't taking his meds. And if you know anybody that's on any type of medication, when they get off their meds, things get a little strange and they can get a little weird. He had violent previous encounters with women, as I stated earlier in the read, that ended with Jason being arrested for 3 felonies, and then he copped out and got the misdemeanor charge, which I don't know how you go from 3 felonies to a misdemeanor charge when you're putting hands on people. That's kind of strange. That's kind of weird. It was known that Jason and Nicole did not get along. He did not like Nicole. Probably figured she was a younger woman. She was just gold digging on his daddy. That's why he probably didn't like her. Let's just be real, lay it all on the table here. And the staff at the restaurant said that Jason did come back, and he was sweating and he was wearing different clothes that night. Why the LAPD didn't look into it, I think it's a case of, we want it to be OJ, we think it's OJ, we're gonna make it OJ. And they let the murderer get away, as OJ said that time after he got out of jail. They let the murderer get away and they ain't looking for him. But as a father, if it comes out that OJ actually was just taken up for his son, it's still a bad act. it's still something bad to do, but it will make you change your perspective of O.J. Simpson, right? That he's not a murderer. He knew of the murder, and he just let his son, he took the charge for his son. Now, if my child came to me and said, I just did something totally horribly wrong, I murdered her, Dad, I'm sorry, what can I do? I don't know if I could just grab him by the hand and say, come on, we're walking to this police station. Being that who it was, my ex-wife that I didn't like, that was getting me for child support, I don't think I can take his hand and walk him into the police station. Am I just wrong? Am I an evil person? I don't think so. But it touches something, like I say, you hit that point sometime where you're like, what do? I know this is bad, but I love my child more than the situation that he's in. Like I said, I just don't see me taking his hand and bringing him down to the police station. I see me saying, okay, let me gather all this and let me just think about what we're gonna do, which would make sense. OJ had to take that flight that night. He went out, and people think that's when he committed the murders. But think if he just met up with his son, took the evidence, therefore he has blood on him, therefore he's sweating because it's a real tough situation. It's a real brain-boggling situation. You know, it's one of those things that you just react and you're not really thinking about it. You're reacting, then later you're going to do what you have to do. But I'm going to leave it right there. As I said, if you like today's content, make sure you share, like, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps. And make sure you hit the notifications so we all get notifications when we drop our videos. I just want to say rest in peace to Nicole Brown Simpson. Rest in peace to Ronald Goldman and his family. I know they still take it hard after all these decades and decades and decades. So I'm gonna leave it right there. Get in that comment section. Let me know, do you think Jason Simpson was actually the murderer of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ryan Goldman? I've been Sean Mack, and this is Death After Sports. Nicole Brown Simpson.